Welcome to Canarica's podcast, The Digital Shift. Today, we're plunging into a challenge that, well, it really impacts every single business and individual, and that's the relentless rise of fraud. You've shared some excellent content with us, and we're ready to unpack the truly transformative role artificial intelligence is playing in fortifying our digital world. This isn't some abstract threat. It hits close to home for so many people. Just think about this. In 2024 alone, U.S. companies were hit with a staggering $12.5 billion in losses to online fraud. That's a 25% jump from the year before. It really makes you realize that traditional defenses, well, they just aren't cutting it anymore, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And the real cost here goes beyond just the financial ledger. It's about the erosion of trust and confidence, which, as we've seen time and again, can be far more damaging to a brand in the long run. What's truly fascinating, I think, is how quickly AI has moved from this sort of theoretical future solution to an absolutely indispensable shield right now. We're already seeing major institutions like HSBC using AI to flag hidden risks across, get this, 1.35 billion transactions. And it's not just catching more fraud. Importantly, it's also drastically reducing those frustrating false positives for legitimate customers.
Right, those times your own card gets blocked for no reason.
Right. Nobody wants that.
So the big question for you, our listener, and for business leaders everywhere really is, if AI is already delivering such measurable, such impactful results for these global players, what's stopping companies from truly putting it to work for themselves? Today, we're going to explore exactly why AI is becoming indispensable in the fight against fraud. We'll look at how this intelligent defense operates, the diverse types of fraud it can actually tackle, and how leading companies are not just implementing these powerful systems, but doing so effectively and crucially responsibly. Okay, so considering those staggering losses we just mentioned, it's pretty clear the old ways of defending against fraud are being outmaneuvered. The question isn't really if we need a new approach, but why AI has become, well, not just an option, but an absolute imperative in this escalating digital conflict. What, in your view, is the single most immediate and profound impact AI brings to the table for stopping fraud right in its tracks?
Well, I'd say the most impactful benefit really is speed. But it's more than just being fast. Real-time fraud detection, powered by machine learning, identifies and blocks fraudulent activities within milliseconds. While older systems often review transactions after the fact, after the money's gone.
Too late, yeah.
Exactly. AI intervenes before the money even moves. It's about preventing the crime, not just investigating it later. And that speed also significantly reduces things like chargeback processing time, which is a huge operational headache.
Milliseconds. That's incredible. But does this hyper speed, this efficiency ever come with a trade-off? Like, does it risk flagging legitimate transactions more often? Or does speed somehow lead to better accuracy too?
That's a really critical question, and it highlights AI's true power because AI systems process thousands, sometimes millions, of data points per transaction. They can identify these incredibly subtle behavioral anomalies, things that human analysts, even the best ones, simply cannot detect at scale. So it isn't just about speed, it's about vastly improved detection consistency across all transactions. This drastically reduces those manual review errors, and yes, it actually improves the accuracy. It gets better at spotting real fraud while letting legitimate transactions pass through smoothly. It's kind of the best of both worlds.
Okay, so that kind of efficiency, speed, and accuracy working together, that must lead to significant cost reduction, right? Do we have any figures that really illustrate that impact?
We certainly do. Take the U.S. Treasury, for instance. They reported preventing and recovering over $4 billion in fiscal year 2024.
$4 billion.
$4 billion. And that's a massive leap from $652.7 million the previous year. A huge part of that jump is attributed to enhanced detection processes, heavily leaning on AI. AI reduces the financial burden in multiple ways by cutting down on the need for huge manual review teams, minimizing the actual fraud losses, and reducing operational overhead.
So it's faster, more accurate, and it saves money. But, fraud doesn't just happen 9 to 5, does it?
Exactly. Fraud attempts are happening around the clock across every time zone. AI fraud detection systems offer that crucial round-the-clock protection. They monitor transactions continuously, without breaks, maintaining consistent security standards regardless of the time or the volume of transactions.
Like a sleepless watchdog.
Precisely. Across your entire global operation, if needed.
And these systems aren't static, are they? They actually get smarter over time. This learning aspect seems key.
That's the beauty of it. It's the learning that improves over time. AI models, especially machine learning models, learn from new data, from new trends. They adapt to new fraud tactics automatically, often without needing someone to manually write a new rule.
So they're not just reacting, they're anticipating.
In a way, yes. They can highlight suspicious attributes or connections between seemingly unrelated things that traditional rule-based systems would totally miss. They genuinely improve their accuracy with each transaction processed and get better at recognizing brand new attack methods.
That must be a huge advantage for growing businesses, the ones dealing with increasing transaction volumes.
Absolutely. AI offers superior volume handling. It's why more than 3 in 5 financial organizations currently use advanced machine learning for fraud detection
Mhm.
because it scales so efficiently. It can process almost unlimited transaction volumes and maintain that speed even during peak traffic periods like holidays without a proportional increase in cost. You don't need to hire proportionally more people.
Okay, this all sounds great for businesses, operationally and financially. But what about the customer? Does all this relentless vigilance get in the way? Does it cause friction for legitimate users?
You'd think it might, but actually it's quite the opposite in most cases. Better accuracy directly translates to fewer legitimate transactions being mistakenly blocked, and that significantly improves the customer experience. JP Morgan, for example, they reported improving their fraud detection accuracy by 20% while simultaneously reducing their account validation rejection rates by 15–20%.
So fewer false alarms.
Exactly. It builds customer confidence in the security because it works smoothly and it speeds up approvals. Less hassle for everyone.
Right. Now, there's a kind of darker side to this AI story we need to touch on. We're not just fighting human fraudsters anymore, are we? Criminals are using AI too.
This is a crucial point. We are absolutely in an AI-powered arms race now. You look at the stats, 8 out of 10 fraud fighters expect to deploy generative AI by 2025. Why? Partly because the criminals are already using AI tools for incredibly sophisticated attacks. Think deepfakes, AI-generated phishing emails that are scarily convincing.
Wow, deepfakes for fraud.
Yes. So competitive protection against these advanced AI-powered threats really demands an AI-powered defense. You have to fight fire with smarter fire, essentially.
Okay, so we've really established the why, the urgent need for AI. Let's peel back the layers a bit now. How exactly does AI do this? How does it detect these complex and, constantly evolving fraud patterns?
Right, the how. Well, AI utilizes several powerful techniques. Think of it like a detective's toolkit. At its core, you have machine learning models. These are algorithms that learn from data. You've got supervised models, which learn from labeled examples of past fraud cases, like studying known cases to spot similar patterns. And then unsupervised models, which are designed to spot anything unusual or anomalous, even if it's a type of fraud never seen before, without needing those pre-labeled examples.
So they can catch the new stuff too.
Exactly. And studies consistently show companies using machine learning detect fraud faster and reduce their losses compared to just relying on static rules or purely manual reviews. It helps spot sudden changes in behavior that rules might miss.
And it goes even deeper than that, doesn't it? I've heard about deep learning.
Yes, deep learning and neural networks take it another step further. These are more complex machine learning structures, kind of inspired by the human brain. They're particularly good at handling really complex, layered information, things like images for facial recognition, voice patterns for voice ID, or analyzing vast, complex transaction histories.
So for things like biometric verification.
Precisely. Strengthening detection in sectors like banking, fintech, e-commerce, where identity verification is key.
But what about those truly unusual, those one-off attempts that don't really fit any known pattern, even a complex one? The outliers.
That's where techniques like isolation force and anomaly detection really shine. These algorithms are specifically built to quickly separate normal behavior from the rare, risky outliers. They're very efficient at flagging transactions that significantly deviate from a customer's usual patterns.
So they're good at catching the unexpected.
Exactly. Great for detecting new, previously unseen fraud attempts, and they tend to have fewer false positives than just simple rule triggers.
And fraud isn't always just one person acting alone, right? It's often organized crime.
Indeed. Fraudsters often operate in sophisticated rings or networks. For that, we use graph neural networks, or GNNs. These are fascinating. They excel at uncovering hidden links by analyzing how accounts, devices, IP addresses, and transactions connect to each other.
Like mapping out the network.
Exactly like mapping the network. Industry insights show GNNs are being adopted more and more because they can reveal these organized fraud rings, detect synthetic identities, which are entirely fake personas, and expose collusion. especially powerful for financial institutions and large e-commerce platforms dealing with complex webs of interaction.
Okay, what about scams that rely more on language? Things like sophisticated phishing emails or fake websites.
Good question. For that, we turn to natural language processing, or NLP. NLP algorithms are trained to scan written communication emails, chat messages, website text looking for suspicious wording, urgency tactics, grammatical errors common in scams, things like that. It improves phishing detection by learning the patterns of scam language.
And making sense of why the AI flags something is important too, right? It can't just be a black box.
Absolutely critical. That's where explainable AI, XAI, comes in. XAI techniques aim to make the AI's decision-making process transparent. So instead of just getting a fraud, no fraud decision, the system can explain why it flagged a transaction. Maybe it was the location, the device used, the transaction amount compared to history. This builds trust, helps with investigations, and is essential for meeting regulatory requirements, especially in sectors like banking and insurance.
That's a really powerful arsenal of tools. It makes sense now how AI can adapt to so many different situations. Can you maybe run through some of the key types of fraud AI tackles across different industries?
Sure, AI's adaptability means it can really be applied across the board. In banking and finance, it's huge for flagging stolen card transactions, often in real time. It also tracks unusual transfer patterns that might indicate money laundering, and as we said, cuts those annoying false positives. For insurance fraud, it's great at detecting things like duplicate claims or claims that are suspiciously inflated. It can use NLP to scan claim forms for unusual language inconsistencies.
Okay.
In healthcare, it's used to identify billing patterns that just don't match a patient's history, or spotting phantom claims billing for services never actually rendered.
So it's definitely not just finance. It seems like it's everywhere.
Precisely. In telecommunications, AI can detect dangerous SIM swap attempts, which criminals use to take over accounts, or flag abnormal call volumes indicating scams.
Oh,
For e-commerce, it flags suspicious orders like unusually large purchases shipping to a new address, while also working hard to reduce false declines for genuine customers, which is key for retaining business. And then you have threats that cut across all industries, like phishing and social engineering. AI scans emails, messages, even websites for suspicious links, impersonation tactics. And there's also insider fraud, where AI monitors internal systems for unusual login patterns or employees accessing or transferring data they shouldn't be.
wow. That breadth of application is exactly what makes AI so transformative in this space. And, we at Canerica understand these diverse challenges firsthand. It's why we specialize in developing agentic AI and custom AML solutions. We aim to solve real business problems, not just in finance, but across manufacturing, retail, healthcare too, helping organizations boost productivity, cut costs, and optimize resources with innovative, tailored AI. Okay, so it's one thing to talk about the capabilities in theory. It's another to see it actually working out there in the real world. How are some of the big names, the leading companies, actually implementing AI for fraud detection? What results are they getting?
Yeah, the real-world examples really drive it home. Look at JP Morgan. Since around 2021, they've been heavily investing in AI for smarter live monitoring. Their systems learn from vast transaction histories, constantly refining risk scores in real time. This means they flag odd behavior much earlier, adapt quicker to new fraud patterns, and they've significantly cut down on false alerts, making things smoother for customers.
And what about HSBC's impact? You mentioned them earlier.
Right, HSBC's AI tools, as of their reports around 2021 onwards, were spotting an additional 2–4% of suspicious activity across that massive 1.35 billion transaction pool. Now, 2–4% might sound small, but across that volume, it adds up to significant amounts of money saved, and just as importantly, preserves that crucial trust with their customers by catching things older systems missed.
MasterCard often gets mentioned here too. Their numbers sound particularly impressive, don't they?
They really are. MasterCard's AI engine, called Decision Intelligence, and its more advanced Pro upgrade, they scan hundreds of billions of transactions every year. Reports have shown it can raise fraud detection rates by as much as 300% in some scenarios.
300%.
Yeah, it's a huge potential uplift. And they also cut false declines by about 22% and can detect compromised cards in roughly half the time it used to take. Their system evaluates every single transaction in real time using deep behavioral data, and they're even incorporating generative AI now to help block fraud even faster.
These are incredibly powerful defenses. But as you mentioned, there's the flip side, AI being used for fraud. That deepfake example is chilling.
Exactly. The stakes are just incredibly high now. That example of deepfake fraud where scammers used AI-generated video to convincingly impersonate company executives.
Right, they tricked an employee into transferring $25 million.
Precisely. It's a stark wake-up call. It highlights just how urgent and growing the need is for advanced AI defenses to combat these increasingly sophisticated AI-powered attacks. The offense is using AI, so the defense must too.
So, given all this power for both good and potential misuse, how do businesses make sure they build AI systems that are not just effective but also trustworthy, ethical?
That's the million-dollar question, maybe the billion-dollar question. Building trust is absolutely paramount, and it rests on several key pillars. Firstly, making AI explainable, XAI, as we touched on. This means the system needs to be able to provide clear, understandable reasoning for why it flagged a transaction, not just a yes-no. This transparency builds trust with customers, helps investigators, and satisfies regulators. It moves away from the black box problem.
And privacy is always a massive concern with all this data flying around.
Huge concern. Federated learning for privacy is a really important strategy here. It's a technique that allows AI models to learn from data that's spread across multiple organizations or multiple devices without actually moving the raw, sensitive customer data itself.
So the data stays put.
Essentially, yes. The learning happens locally, and only aggregated, anonymized insights are shared. This keeps information secure while still letting the models learn from broader data sets, improving overall detection.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's also about the rules and the governance surrounding it.
Absolutely essential. You need strong AI governance and compliance rules. Companies need clear frameworks, policies, procedures, oversight to ensure fairness, accountability, and regulatory compliance. This helps prevent bias creeping into the detection models and builds confidence among all stakeholders that the AI is being used responsibly.
And even with the smartest AI, there's still a place for human judgment, right?
Crucially, we must keep humans in the loop. It's not about full automation replacing people entirely in this context. Having experienced fraud analysts review high-risk cases or decisions the AI is uncertain about helps catch errors, strengthens the overall decision-making by blending AI scale with human intuition, and gives customers reassurance that people are involved in sensitive situations. It's about augmenting human capability.
And finally, just making sure everyone involved actually understands what's going on.
Yes, training staff and educating customers is vital. Your internal fraud prevention teams need proper training on how these AI systems work, what their outputs mean, how to interpret them, and customers should also be empowered, educated on how to recognize fraud attempts themselves. They're often the first line of defense. It's a collaborative effort.
What a really thorough deep dive into this dynamic world of AI in fraud detection. It seems crystal clear that AI isn't just reacting to threats anymore. It's actively helping to build a more secure and hopefully more trustworthy digital environment for all of us.
Indeed. When you look at the whole picture, from the real-time prevention and the superior accuracy to safeguarding customer trust and needing to defend against new AI-powered threats, the impact is just undeniable. And those critical elements we discussed, like explainability, privacy, strong governance, and keeping humans involved, they're key to ensuring these powerful tools are used responsibly and effectively.
And, these are exactly the kinds of complex challenges that we at Canerica are dedicated to solving. We focus on building purpose-driven AI agents and custom generative AI models designed to tackle operational bottlenecks and streamline workflows across various business functions. For instance, for enterprises managing complex supply chains, we deliver tools for things like inventory optimization and vendor evaluation. For sales and finance teams, our AI can support forecasting, product pricing strategies, and even complex arithmetic data validation, all with enhanced accuracy and speed. We at Canerica are really focused on helping businesses like yours leverage the full power of AI for smarter operations and truly sustainable growth well beyond just fraud detection.
So as we wrap up this exploration, maybe here's a provocative thought for everyone listening. Given the escalating sophistication of AI-powered fraud, the offense getting smarter, how will businesses not only keep pace, but actually manage to get ahead in this ongoing digital arms race? And how do we do that while ensuring that trust, which is so fundamental, remains paramount in this increasingly intelligent world?
That's a really powerful question for all of us to consider. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of The Digital Shift. We really hope this deep dive has provided you with valuable insights and a better understanding of the absolutely vital role AI is playing and will continue to play in securing our digital future. Until next time.